It's that moment. You know exactly the one I'm talking about. You're just staring, maybe at the ceiling, maybe at a screen, maybe at nothing at all. You've got that list of things you know you should be doing, but your body feels like it's filled with sand. Every part of you feels heavy, your brain is just fog. And that gap, the one between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it, right now it feels like a canyon.
And right on cue, that's the voice that kicks in. And let's be honest, it doesn't feel lazy. Not really. It feels reasonable. It's the voice of negotiation. It's that quiet, tired whisper that promises relief is just around the corner. It tells you that all you need is a little more rest, a bit more energy, and then you'll be ready. We tell ourselves this story because we're all waiting to feel strong again.
But here's the trap. That very strategy, waiting to feel better, waiting for energy, that's the exact thing that keeps so many of us stuck. The uncomfortable truth that we're going to unpack here is this. Real discipline isn't built when you feel strong. It's not forged on the good days when you're motivated and ready to go. It's forged in these moments, the moments when you feel weak.
Okay, let's get into this, because that feeling of being physically glued to the couch, it is not a character flaw. You're not broken. What you're actually doing is fighting against millions of years of evolution. What you're experiencing is your brain's ancient, hardwired survival program just kicking in.
See, your brain's #1 job isn't to help you hit your goals or finish that project. Its only job is to keep you alive. And from a survival standpoint, when your energy is low, starting something new is a terrible idea. It's a waste of precious fuel. So your brain, in its infinite wisdom, slams on the emergency brake. It isn't trying to sabotage you. It's just trying to protect its battery. So what is actually happening chemically in your brain during that moment of paralysis? Well, a huge part of it is a chemical called dopamine. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman explains that we usually get this all wrong. We think of dopamine as this reward molecule we get after we do something. But it's actually the molecule of pursuit. It's the engine that drives you toward the thing. So when your energy is low, your brain literally dials down the dopamine. Your engine gets throttled. It's not that you don't want the end result, it's that your biology has literally taken away your drive to act.
And this is exactly why our usual strategy just completely fails. We try to use our tired, foggy, resistant mind to convince itself to get up and do something. But as Huberman says, that's like trying to grab fog with your hands. The mind is the resistance. The way out isn't to think harder. It's to bypass the mind entirely and start with the body, with just one tiny physical action.
So this really forces us to make a crucial shift in our thinking. We have to completely separate the idea of discipline from the feeling of motivation. They are not the same thing. In fact, relying on motivation is precisely why we fail the moment we start feeling weak. Think of it like this. Motivation is a firework. It's this brilliant, emotional spark. It feels amazing, but it's gone in a flash. It's a fair-weather friend that is nowhere to be found the second you feel tired. Discipline, on the other hand, is a machine. It's a system. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't need to be inspired. It just executes the command you gave it when you were thinking clearly. And I love this definition for its raw simplicity. It's not about feeling like some kind of superhero. It's not about having this iron willpower that never cracks. Discipline is simply the act of honoring a promise you made to yourself, especially when every single part of your brain and body is screaming no. It's pure behavior. It has nothing to do with emotion.
So the crucial point is this. We don't build discipline for the days we feel good. We build discipline for the moments we feel awful. It's the structure you put in place on a good day so you have something to lean on during a bad one. It's the bridge that makes sure you get to the other side even when that river of motivation has completely run dry. All right, so if we can't rely on our minds and we can't rely on our feelings, what's left? We rely on a system, a brutally simple, practical set of rules designed for the days when you have absolutely nothing left in the tank. This isn't about trying to find some secret reserve of energy. It's about learning how to operate without it.
So here it is, a 4-step system designed for your worst days. Now this isn't about peak performance, it's all about consistency. First, you lower the standard because doing something is always better than doing nothing. Second, you eliminate all friction, making the action as easy as humanly possible to start. Third, you build your track record of wins, no matter how small they seem. And fourth, you actively practice discomfort to build up your tolerance. The goal here isn't to be a hero. The goal is just, don't break the chain. Let's break down that first one. Lower the standard.
Let's say your plan was a 1-hour gym session, but you feel completely gassed. The old you would just skip it. The new you goes for 10 minutes. You just walk on the treadmill. You do one single set of push-ups. The point isn't the workout. The point is to reinforce the identity of, I am someone who shows up. Showing up at 20% is infinitely better than not showing up at all, because it tells your brain this behavior is non-negotiable, no matter how you feel.
Okay, but even showing up at 20% can feel impossible if there's too much stuff in your way. That's where step 2, eliminate friction, comes in. This means you prepare for your future tired self. You lay out your gym clothes the night before. You put your notebook and pen on your desk before you go to sleep. You make that first action so easy, so ridiculously obvious that it's actually harder to avoid it than to just do it. And once you start doing that, you can focus on step 3, building your track record. Every single time you act when you feel weak, you are gathering evidence. As Leo Skepi puts it, you're creating proof that you can do it. And this track record, it's way more powerful than any fleeting feeling of motivation. The next time you feel like quitting, you can look back at the proof and say, I've felt this before and I acted anyway. Your past actions become the fuel for your future ones.
And finally, step 4 is all about practicing discomfort in tiny, manageable doses. Think of these as reps for your willpower muscle. When you're standing in line, just resist that primal urge to pull out your phone. Take a 30-second cold shower. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, like taking out the trash, do it immediately instead of pushing it off. These small acts of choosing a slightly less comfortable path train your brain to tolerate resistance, and that makes it so much easier to push through when it really counts.
And this is where it all leads. The goal here isn't just to check boxes off a to-do list. The real transformation, the thing that actually lasts, happens at the level of your identity. You are changing who you believe you are, one difficult action at a time.
You know, as Leo Skepi says, your character is what makes you beautiful. And every single time you show up for yourself when it's hard, you're not just building a habit, you're building self-respect. You are proving to yourself that you are reliable, that the promises you make to yourself actually mean something. This act of showing up, especially when you're weak, is a profound act of building your character.
And this is the final, most crucial takeaway of all. You can't wait to feel like a disciplined person before you start acting. It's the other way around. You become a disciplined person by repeatedly taking disciplined actions, especially on the days you least feel like it. Your identity is not a product of your thoughts or your intentions. It is the sum total of your actions.
So I'll leave you with this. Be honest with yourself. What is that one thing you always avoid when you feel tired? That task, that habit, that phone call you know you should make. That's not your obstacle. That is your starting point. That's where the real work begins. And that is your opportunity to prove to yourself who you really are.